going to say, Dan, you're my friend. And we were friends for a long time. Do you remember when we first met and became friends?
I remember that about 5 or 6 years ago. Has that been that long?
I think so.
You started working at Lula. And that's how we came to know each other.
And then you saw me and you were like, I can't wait to be her friend.
I said those exact words.
That's what I thought. I remember at the time that you were dating this woman, and I was very intimidated by her, and I didn't want to hang out with you guys very much.
Shoot. Yep. We were a little bit scary.
Yeah, you guys were like a power couple of Logan Square, and it was like a lot. It was a lot to handle. But anyway, so good. So we are friends. We've established that. And this is friends with benefits. So we're friends, and then I want to benefit from this friendship more because you have like so much to offer. You're gonna teach me something.
Yes.
Teach me how to do something.
I'm gonna teach you today how to whistle like a bird.
Okay.
And how to identify rocks and minerals.
That's so good. I'm excited to learn. Well, okay, I'm excited to learn how to whistle like a bird, but I also feel like I want to use it very sparingly because it is your thing. Like when I'm in the basement at Lula and then I just hear a bird. I know it's not a bird. I know that you're somewhere nearby.
Well, if you start using it, then you'll start confusing other people because they'll be like, Dan's here. And then they'll turn around and be like, where
I'll be like, what are you looking at?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, I thought.
Yeah, and you can be real defensive too and be like, what?
Just like whistling in their face.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to learn this. It's gonna be so good. Okay, so what do you think? How do you start?
So the way I do it is I whistle through my teeth and then I control the pitch with the shape of my mouth.
Okay.
So it's sort of like this.
It's so good. It sounds exactly like a bird. Like that sound?
So
through your teeth.
It's like that. So I use the tip of my tongue against the back of my teeth as my mouth sort of makes like it goes from wide to narrow. Yep. Are you inhaling or exhaling?
I'm exhaling.
Okay, yeah.
I need to make it like clear enough. It kind of sounds like something.
Yeah, you're
but
getting
I feel like maybe my teeth are too close together or something.
Mine don't really. It doesn't go through my teeth, but it goes.
It's not going through my
It goes
teeth.
sort of between the gap between the upper and lower.
It's not high enough.
I think the more you practice.
Okay, but I have the technique.
Yeah, you know how to do it.
No.
You just need to practice.
I need to like clear up this there's a lot of static.
There's a little bit of lower. You've got the low end. You need to focus on the high end.
Hi, sweet cat. What's this cat's name?
This is Melvin.
Melvin, get in the video. Get over here. He's so big.
He's sort of a big guy.
But there's also this thing that I noticed that when I noticed just sitting next to you hearing it, that you have this like extra sound at the end. Do you hear that sound? Maybe it's like
a short cutoff?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that I have that for sure.
Okay.
All right, so
I'm criticizing your technique that I can't do anymore.
While you're practicing your whistling, I'm going to teach you about some minerals. Okay?
Okay, teach me.
All right. So what I have here is.
Wait, why are you teaching me about minerals? Why do you care about them?
Oh, well, I have a degree in environmental science.
You do?
I do.
Just kidding, I knew that.
I have an interest in geology and conservation. I volunteer at the Peggy Notebart Nature Museum, and I work in the butterfly laboratory.
That's a very prime position. You told me that it's very hard to get.
It's hard to get.
Okay,
that's
good.
I'm proud of myself for getting that, and it's really fun. I go in there once a week for a couple of hours, and I work with the butterflies I help to organize the newly arrived butterflies while they're still in their pupa stage. They're in their chrysalis.
Mm-hmm.
I label them and I pin them to boards in which they hang, and they emerge within a couple of days. And once they emerge from their chrysalis, we release them into the butterfly haven.
I love all the words that you said. You said pupa, you said haven, butterfly haven.
Yeah.
I love all those things.
Laboratory.
Ooh, laboratory. I missed that one. I love it.
I've been studying environmental science for a few years, and I have most of my interest is in like the conservation side of it. But I also like to study rocks, and so I have a sort of an assortment of different rocks and minerals, and I'm going to teach you how to identify a couple of them.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I may not have all of these memorized, but there are a few ways to tell what a rock is or a mineral. One is using the streak plate. Now, different rocks leave, when you rub them against this ceramic tile, they'll leave a remnant behind that will be a certain color.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, there's a mineral called hematite, which is the ore for iron.
Mm-hmm.
When you rub hematite onto this, it'll leave a red streak because
ore is
iron
like
is red.
The general, like you have ore and then there's iron in there and you have to extract the iron, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Like just like this is galena. Galena is the lead ore.
Okay.
So galena's
So
chemical.
there's lead in there.
There's
That's
lead
the
in
idea.
here.
Okay.
The galena's chemical formula is PBS, which means lead sulfite. So there's lead and sulfur in here, and when this is mined from the ground, which is a naturally forming mineral, you can extract the lead from it, and that's how you get pipes and other things. So this you can tell is galena for one reason. See how it's cubic in its structure?
So it looks like a bunch of squares put together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they call this is cleavage, which is how a mineral breaks. You smash it with a hammer, it will break along planes of weakness.
Okay, so
And
once
this,
you shatter, it'll break like in sheets. Okay.
Exactly. This one will break in cubes.
Mm-hmm.
So they call that cubic cleavage. And that is the number one defining characteristic of this mineral, galena.
Okay.
So you'll always be able to
Is
tell
it always
galena because
shiny?
it's cubic. Yeah, it's a
Okay,
shiny metal.
It's shiny.
So you can identify it by its luster
Okay.
and by its cubic cleavage.
Okay.
So luster, cleavage, streak, those are all ways to identify minerals.
Okay.
Hardness. Some rocks and minerals are harder than others. Quartz is one of the hardest. There's a scale called the Mohs hardness scale. And it starts with, I think, gypsum at the bottom, which is like one of the softest minerals, and diamond at the top, which is number 10. Mm-hmm. So it goes from 1 to 10. Quartz is like a 7. I think it's a 6 or a 7. Quartz is actually sharp enough to scratch glass, which is why we have this glass.
So you go out and you bring these with you when you want to
The
look
idea
at
is you bring them with you along with a field magnifying glass.
Magnifier.
The idea is you can.
I love all your like flair, your like rock tools. I love it.
The idea behind using this is that you'd be able to see the actual crystals in the mineral itself. Now, you see how this one is a little bit sparkly?
Uh-huh.
And what color is this?
Rusty,
reddish,
brown,
rusty. Yeah. Okay. So if you bring this close enough and you get the right distance, you can sort of see the individual crystals of the mineral. And you can see that this is a little bit red with some sparkly crystal in there as well. Now, I'm willing to bet, based on the color and the grain size, that this is probably hematite, the iron ore.
Okay.
And so the way to sort of confirm that is by using the streak.
And it is.
And it's red?
Yeah.
So this one could probably be hematite. That's how you identify this one.
Okay.
All right.
So now is this forever red? Can you wash it off?
You can sort of scrape it or wash it off.
Okay.
But yeah, it'll probably be a little bit stained from now on. But not bad.
Well, you'll always remember this teaching moment.
Then let's see, what else do we have here? We have what looks this golden luster, which looks like gold. But is it gold? Could be fool's gold.
Oh yeah, what is the name? What is fool's gold called again?
Pyrite.
Pyrite, that's right.
So pyrite is actually copper with a sulfide connected to it. So it's CuS, I believe. So that's why it has that bronzish tinge to it.
Oh, so it looks like gold when you just look at it, but when you look up close, it looks bronzy.
And one way to tell the difference between gold and pyrite or chalcopyrite is no, pyrite's FeS and chalcopyrite is CuFeS. So there's a little copper in chalcopyrite. Is the softness of it. Gold is very soft and malleable, whereas this is an iron and it is a little bit harder to.
But how do you? Can I have a little bit of your beer?
Yes, I have more.
That's okay. How do you test the hardness of a rock?
There's a couple different ways to do it. One, you can test how hard it is by seeing if it can scratch glass.
Oh, right. You told me that.
It's a terrible noise. Really... Quartz will scratch glass.
It sounded like it was scratching it.
It did, and that means that it's not gold because gold is not hard enough to scratch glass.
Okay.
But also, you can use the fingernail test. There are some that are soft enough where you can actually scratch off part of it with the fingernail. Gypsum and talc. And then there's also the nail test. I don't have a nail, but you can use an iron nail. And if the iron nail scratches the mineral, that means that it's softer than the nail itself. And the nail has a hardness of like a 4 or a 5. Oh, okay. So that's somewhere in the middle. So you're using these relative hardnesses. Glass is like a 6, a nail is like a 4, your fingernail is a 2. And so you can figure out, oh, it's between 2 and 4, it's probably not iron. Or it's between like, it's 6 or above, so it's probably not talc or something like that because it crumbles.
I like this like rock mystery of like you have these do all these tests and like
the coolest test I don't have available is to test whether limestone or whether you have limestone or not. Now limestone is a rock. It's not this rock, but it is a rock that its chemical formula is CaCO3, and that means it's calcium carbonate. That means it's a carbonate, which means that it will react with certain acids. You can use a small dilute bottle of hydrochloric acid, and you can put just a dab onto limestone, and it will start fizzing. Oh. So there's the fizz test as well. If you're looking at a rock and you're not sure if it's limestone or not, you can use a little hydrochloric acid, and if it starts fizzing, have with you all the time. Some rock identification people have a tiny little bottle of dilute hydrochloric acid. Oh, okay. I used it in school. I wasn't able to sneak one out. Like I snuck this whole thing out of school.
What? This is not yours. You took it from school?
Well, I didn't steal it. I asked if I could have it, and they said I could have it. Oh, okay. But I didn't ask for the hydrochloric acid because I didn't think they would give it to me.
Oh, you should have asked. Yeah. Can you use hydrochloric acid? Is big acid, like burn your face off acid.
It's a strong acid, but it's usually dilute. It's something like maybe it'll be 10% hydrochloric acid rather than like pure hydrochloric acid. So if you put it on your finger, it's not going to burn you. But if you put it on the rock, it's enough in there to identify that it will fizz, it will react, and it will tell you that it's limestone.
Okay. I like it. I like this kit. I really want to see you work at Lula with like a little, like maybe like a tool belt, and it has like a little bag on the side with like has.
I would like this attachment for like a lens, like to my glasses, so I can just like always be here, and then if I need to look at something, I can just like move it up and look at it. I would like that. Be amazing. I would be into that.
And so you just like flip it down during the day, and everyone's like, "What the hell?" And you're like, "What if I see a rock?
What?
What if I need to be ready?"
And then I can start going.
Oh yeah. I feel like I'm making the same movement, but my whistle isn't clean enough.
You're getting closer.
I sure there's a bird that's. It sounds so much like a bird.
I don't even know. I have no idea what bird that is.
But it's like clearly a bird, though. It's like not a whistle.
It's definitely a bird.
But where did you learn that?
I think it was because I just I thought of it more as a whistle at first, and I would be like, I would go like like that,
Uh-huh.
and I thought that was like cool, or like a trombone.
I just
or...
like picture you sitting at home and being like,
Well,
like,
I thought
wow, that was awesome.
I just thought that was cool, but
it
then
is cool. It is cool.
but then I realized if I did it really quick and short, it sounded like a canary or something.
Yeah, probably a canary. That's kind of like a sparrow or something.
Yeah. It's like
A
the
hopping
birds
bird.
when you stay out too late and you're about to go to bed, like you're hearing those birds.
That's you.
That's
It's just
so
you, though.
it's
I
just
thought.
me in the tree above your house.
You just like wait until you're like you're home too late with the whistle,
exactly.
and you have to sit like this in the tree.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we'll have to look in the tree
Mhm.
for you. Okay, I feel like we should just move this down so that everybody can see all these rocks that Dan stole from school. Stolen.
I also have this. This is a piece of rock from. It was given to me for my birthday. It has.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Do you remember Chelsea?
Chelsea Blasco.
Blasco.
Yeah.
She gave this to me for my birthday.
That's so nice of her.
I know.
She's such a sweet person.
This was the bedrock in her, or not the bedrock, but one of the rocks in her hometown in Indiana, nearby a stream bed. And she picked it up and she found it, and she wanted me to identify the fossils in it. And I wanted her to find out exactly where it was so I could look into the rock record, the geologic record, to find out what layer this is in, because it would tell us how old these fossils actually are. Now, I think they're brachiopods, which are like related to clams.
Oh, okay.
And
clamish.
I think they're extinct actually, by a couple 100 million years.
What?
So I'm pretty sure that these fossils, which are actually molds of fossils, if you can tell, there's actually no fossils in it. It's just the molds. These molds are
really?
a couple
but
hundred
like
million years
they're
old.
this way. Like if a mold, wouldn't it be? Like
Well,
a negative
imagine if there was a
impression?
shell. A shell.
Oh, and it filled up underneath.
It filled like so. This at one point was soft mud or sediment of some sort, and shells would fall on it and be buried. Over time, it would harden and be pushed farther underground, and then during a depositional period where more and more was being deposited on top, so it could be preserved. And then over time, an erosional period came along and eroded all those top layers, and this was back on the surface again. Well, the shell itself is missing, but the mold the shell left behind is still there.
Cool.
So these shells were probably also made from calcium carbonate. Most limestone is actually just dead sea creatures, like the shells of dead sea creatures.
So that's
you can actually
that's pretty easy to get.
This whole building, the facade and all the gray part, that's all limestone. And if you look close, like with the magnifying glass, it's all fossils. It's just shells of fossils.
Really?
Yeah, we can go out there and look right now.
That's so cool.
It's pretty cool.
That's really cool, Dan. So you didn't identify it, but you got. I mean, you think you.
I wasn't able to identify the time period in which it came from, but I'm pretty sure that these fossil molds are a creature called brachiopod.
Brachiopod.
It has symmetry. It has lateral symmetry. It means it's symmetrical left and right. And then it's usually taller on top than it is on the bottom. So it's usually a shell that's like symmetrical this way, but not this way.
Okay, so it'd be more like.
Yeah, exactly.
Shape. Cool. What a cool birthday present.
I know. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. Are you excited about talking about this?
Yeah, I can easily go down any number of like rabbit holes and just talk for like hours about this stuff. It's really easy for me to sort of get lost in the words that I'm saying.
Well, that's so good though. I feel like there's so many times when I want to talk about interpreting or like a book that I read and then people are like, really? But I could talk about it forever and I just like, I want, like my friends are so cool and you're very cool and I want you to like say a bit about rocks and I'm excited.
Thank you.
Get really excited when people are excited because we don't always get to do what we want to do for like money. Like right now, you're not studying rocks for money. I'm not. But you will be one day, maybe, or you'll hopefully be getting that conservatory job, maybe. Hopefully, conservation job. Yep. So that's cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
And I benefit from your friendship, Dan. This is really important.
This is a great friendship.
Yeah.
And one of these days, I'll have to turn the camera on you so you can teach me some sign language or.
have nothing to
So
teach.
you do. You have plenty to teach.
You made that ridiculous Instagram of me, like, being, like, so serious. I want to, like, work on my face because I was like, sign. And then I looked at you guys and was like, oh my god.
Could you tell that I was recording you?
No, I didn't know. I
No?
just thought you were standing there looking at your phone.
I just dropped my phone on the ground because I was trying to surreptitiously film you.
Oh, well, I mean, I
I
saw
like
you
got
drop
it
on the
out and I
ground,
was just like,
and I was
and I dropped it.
I saw
And
you
you're
drop
like,
on the
great,
ground.
that was real. Like, what did you say?
Oh, I just said, don't take your phone out at work, Dan.
Yeah,
like,
but it
in
was
a
more
sassy
like, you did
voice.
that real sneaky, Dan.
Oh, no, I didn't even
So,
notice.
you didn't say?
They were like, look at what I posted on Instagram, and I was like, I don't do Instagram. And then I had a notification
I was like, I tagged you.
that
Who
I
did
saw
I
that.
tag
And
in
then
it?
randomly, Sylvia, remember
Yeah,
Sylvia?
yeah.
And Jonathan started following me on Instagram.
At that same time?
Yeah, it's like because they saw your video, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so famous.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan, for
Welcome
making
back.
me famous.
Welcome
Another
back.
benefit, you made me famous. I don't know why I got rid
Welcome
of
to the
Instagram.
limelight.
I think I got tired of baby pictures, and I got tired of
Food pictures?
food. I think it's just annoying. Although I do miss Dave Euthis's.
Yeah, he
pretty
still posts some
pictures.
good stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I should do that. And every once in a while, I see like a cone like slightly askew with like a caution tape like draped on the floor, and I'm like, "Where's Dave?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he needs this picture."
He does. It's definitely his style.
And they're so good. He sees like all these beautiful things and
Yeah,
random.
he
places.
inspires me too.
Do you
He definitely
try
does.
to take arty pictures?
I try.
It's okay.
I don't always succeed.
That's okay. It's hard.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. Well, you've taught me so much, Dan, and I'm really excited. And I'm excited to have one of these attached to my glasses. Oh, you use all three. There's three in there.
There's two. Yeah. I also have I don't know if I'd be able to dig it up, but I have like a fancy one that I spent money on. That was probably just given to me. But I have one that's made out of metal. It's actually a jeweler's lens.
Oh, like one of these.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Oh, cool.
But I don't know if I know where it is. It's over there somewhere.
That's okay. Well, I'm excited to borrow this and look at everyone's buildings. Like, walk up to the building and they're like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like,
you can do that.
Looking at the fossils. Leave me alone.
It's on all these greystones.
Okay.
Just get close. Like, you don't even need this. Just get close. You'll see, like, it's made of nothing but fossils.
Wow. In Florida, there's, like, this mulch that's just seashells. And that's what it makes me think of. But it's just actual broken up seashells. But...
Yeah, that's what that stuff is, too.
So it's just broken up even more?
Yeah.
Until it, like, becomes, like, well, you just add something to it to make it, like, a concrete.
It does it on its own. It does it on its own. It's in layers in the earth. So, like, all those dead seashells, they get pressed underground, and pressure and time compacts them and cements them into a matrix, and then we dig it up in quarries and dig out these 100-ton blocks, and then we cut it up into smaller blocks and build buildings out of it, and all it is dead seashells. That's all it is.
Wow, that's pretty cool. It's pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like recycling in a town that does not recycle.
It's pretty terrible, actually.
No, it's bad for the environment.
Well, quarries in general, I think, are bad for the earth. They're digging giant holes into the earth, and like, it's true. Probably like mines, copper mines. They dig into the earth to get copper, and it creates. Usually, the way they process it, it creates a very low pH wastewater. So usually in the center of mines, you'll have this pond of super acidic water where life can barely survive, and it can sometimes, if they're not careful, leak into the water supply of the people living nearby. So I think strip mines for copper, quarries are probably not the best things. I mean, that's how we build all these things, but it's probably like an unsustainable way of doing business.
Digging out of the earth.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't know anything.
Clay bricks.
Oh, clay too. See, I don't know anything about quarries, but I feel like what I know about quarries are like Stand and Deliver or something. Oh, not Stand and Deliver. What's the movie called? Stand by Me, where like they play in the quarry. Like, they're always jump into it.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily
an abandoned quarry that has it's become a reservoir for water.
Rain. Okay. But they're just like playing around, and or like the Flintstones. That's all I know about the quarries.
Yeah.
So they're still around.
Bad. They're actually using an old abandoned quarry, not an abandoned quarry, but it's a quarry that we're no longer digging into on the south side for a reservoir for stormwater in Chicago. There's something called the Deep Tunnel Project, and they're building this giant tunnel 300 feet below the city of Chicago as a reservoir for water. So when giant storm events happen and all that water goes into the sewers and then overflows into people's basements, instead of that happening where the rivers swell and everyone's basement floods, that water, that extra storm water, the surge will go into the deep tunnel and into the abandoned quarries, the reservoirs.
That's
They
a
call
great
it
idea.
TARP, which is Tunnel and Reservoir Project. So
Right.
that it's the largest, it's one of the largest engineering feats ever accomplished, and it's been going on for 30 years. And
I've
there's
never heard of
still
it
another
before.
like 10 years to go before it's complete.
Wow. What cat is that? What's this cat's name?
That's Lucy.
I'm drinking all of your beer.
That's okay.
Anyway, that is lovely. I've never heard of that before. That sounds really
Yeah,
cool.
you can look it up. It's one of the largest like
So then
engineering feats.
Daily must have started it then.
The first Daily,
one.
yeah, in the early 80s it started.
Wow. It's like good foresight. But then that's cool. I hope it finishes.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
great. No, what were you gonna say?
I think part of it is online, but the reservoirs are not. I think the tunnel is being used already, but the
For
reservoirs
what?
are not.
Water.
For stormwater storage,
Okay,
yeah.
but it's just like filling up
During
the
storm
tunnels.
events, yeah. That's why. Were you there when we had to clean up Lula's basement?
Yeah, 2 times.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
I think I was there for 3.
Yeah.
The first time was the worst.
Yeah.
3 feet of standing water in the basement.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Were you there for that, Nate? 3 feet of standing water in the basement at Lula?
Did you work at Lula?
I did.
Yeah.
What did you do?
That's how we met.
Oh, I wasn't there.
He was a cook.
Oh, okay.
He is a cook still.
Yeah.
Where do you work now?
Okay.
I don't know what that
It's
is.
an Italian restaurant in the Loop.
Okay, cool. Oh, he's leaving. Okay. That's cool. Well, yeah, I remember that a lot actually because I went through like all the files and like
All that
laid them
water
out.
came from below.
So I thought it was like
came up the
sewer
storm.
water.
It
So
is.
okay,
It
but
came
they're
up
gonna
the
clean
sewer.
this TARP project is gonna clean it at some point, or like
The idea is
right.
when sewer drains, when all the water from the street goes into sewer drains, the sewers fill up, and then everyone's building is connected to the sewer drains. That's how your poop leaves your house, right?
Right.
So
it's poop water.
So
that's
it
getting
reverses
everywhere.
that flow out there is so high that it reverses the flow, and the sewer water comes back up the pipes into your basement.
Right.
And
well, this president